Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it's me, the Lou D-O double G.
And me, Feelsome Katie.
Yeah, there you go. And you're listening to Geek.
Gourmet.
On today's episode of Geek Gourmet, we're going to be talking about the Starwars Outlaws trailer, Godzilla x Kong: A New Empire, James Gunn's Superman movie, and bedtime stories. Alright, there's the intro, everybody. It's wonderful, it's beautiful, it's hip, it's now, it's wow. And you know, something dropped today on this day of 4/9/2024, the Outlaws trailer, the anticipated Star Wars Outlaws trailer. Let me guess, Katie, you love it and I hate it.
I would love to tell you you're right.
You would love to tell, yeah?
I would love to tell you you were right, but that would be a lie.
Okay, so you hate it too.
I wouldn't say I hate it.
Okay,
but
so tell me what you
it
would say.
doesn't do anything for me. Nothing.
Right.
It's like, I don't know. I feel like with Star Wars, everything Star Wars, I can't help but have really high expectations. And this always happens to me, and I get burned every single time. It's that I think it's going to be like everything, and then it's like, okay, it looks fine. So you didn't like it either?
No, and okay, so I'm obviously a little more in the video game world than you are, right?
Mm-hmm.
My biggest gripe, and this is Ubisoft, by the way, so anybody who is not familiar with Ubisoft also makes all the Assassin's Creed games.
And Dogs. They made the game Dogs. D-O-G-Z. I played that in 2006.
Great. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah. All the hardcore video gamers out there will remember.
They're gonna know Dogs, exactly. They also make, Rainbow Six Siege, so they have a lot of big titles, right, that come out yearly, right? And they are now helming this game. And if you know Ubisoft, if you know Assassin's Creed in particular, they are notorious for these CGI trailers, right? And these trailers that show absolutely no fucking gameplay, dude. and like, let me be clear here. All game studios do that nowadays, right? Like, I don't know who pioneered this. I don't know who fucking started this shit. It could be Ubisoft. If you go back and like look at the like Assassin's Creed Brotherhood trailers, the Assassin's Creed Revelations, like all of the Assassin's Creed trailers up until like the dawn of time, all have tons and tons and tons of views because they're so fucking hype. They're so fucking cool. And then like YouTubers, and now I'm gonna shout out a YouTuber that there's a lot of controversy on this guy, but he made Tobuscus is who I'm talking about. He made these literals surrounding these trailers, right? And back in the day, they were quite fun, right? So like a lot of people made content off these things, and they were super super duper popular. I don't know if it's Old Man Louie talking here, but I'm tired. I'm fucking tired of seeing the CGI trailers because it shows no real sustenance to the game.
Well, it's funny that you bring this up because, like, obviously you're the video game boyo here on this channel, and I like immediately when I was watching this trailer, because like I'm not like always watching video game trailers, right? Like if it pertains to me, I'll watch it, but it's not something I'm like jumping out at. But I think it was either in the caption or if it was like an asterisk at the bottom of the screen, but it was like wide shots may not be used in real gameplay, and then I was like, then why are you showing it to me?
Then
like,
why do I give a shit?
Like, why are you putting it in the trailer?
Exactly, dude.
So was it just me? But there was something a little like uncanny valley about the actual characters and the movement of the hair and the face.
Yeah, you know
it's weird because it feels like they want it to be realism. Right?
Yeah, and so like it's interesting because it's so crazy you bring it up because there's a particular shot I'm envisioning in my brain, right, where she's like walking, and I was like, she's walking a little funky, like it just felt weird to me. So I totally agree with you on that. It feels like it's trying too hard to be natural, but it comes off as like more unnatural, I think.
I'm like, we could just like, and I get it, but it's also like not everything needs to be like Red Dead 2 level of detail. Like people,
great
like,
game by the way. Love that.
Yeah,
Love
well,
that.
people are loving Roblox, not known for its realism. Like you don't like. There's not one way to be successful. I feel like in animation style.
Yeah.
Like they could have done something different.
A little more
but I guess
stylized, yeah, sure.
But I guess it goes kind of with like what they did with Squadrons and Battlefront.
The thing I
way
will
back, The Force Unleashed. I remember playing that.
What I will say about all of those games, or Battlefront in particular, is that those are made by EA Dice. Dice? Did Dice make them?
Is EA involved at all in this new game?
No, it's a Ubisoft title specifically.
Is it Ubisoft or Ubisoft?
I've always heard Ubisoft, but
I've heard. Now you say it, but in my head I'm always like Ubi. But Ubi feels better. No,
I think I'm fairly certain it's Ubisoft.
What is? Do you know the fruit? Is it a fruit or a yam ube? Like,
dude,
the purple thing.
I'm not gonna know. I'm not gonna know that.
I've just had it in ice cream.
Oh yeah, interesting.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about? Am I ridiculous?
Mm-hmm.
No,
okay. I don't think you're ridiculous. I just don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, okay, great. It's a thing. It's a food thing. I don't know what it is though. Unspecified. Drop in the comments below if you know what ube is.
Okay. That's so funny. But yeah. And you know what's so crazy about this though is that I'm talking about hating CGI trailers, right?
Yeah.
I think there's a circumstance in which they're okay. You know what I mean? And I don't think this is the one. One circumstance that I was kind of okay with it was GTA 6. GTA 6, I don't know if you saw GTA 6's trailer.
No, I don't think so.
The
game that will never come out.
Right. It's set in Florida, right? And I mean, we've just been fiending for something regarding GTA, and I was super okay with that because I believe that was actually captured using the Rockstar editor, which is the only, like, I feel like really only like people who edit gaming videos will probably know about the Rockstar editor. But essentially, let me know if you know what it is, Katie. But like, essentially, it's a system within the game that allows you to record like at multiple angles the gameplay of GTA and things like that, which is really cool, and it's really interesting for us in the future if we ever wanted to try and play some GTA, because you know how much I love my cinematic gameplay.
What? You?
Right? Weird.
Never heard you talk about that before.
Mm-hmm. It's only like my dream. But anyway, yeah, no. So I think that in that circumstance is okay, but man, in this one, I'm like, okay, it's about to come out because I'm pretty sure it's coming out in August. Starwars Outlaws.
Yes, August like 26th or 30th or 20
sometime
along in there
this year.
Late
yeah,
August.
And I'm like, at this point, we ought to see gameplay, like in the main trailer, right? Like,
well, it's supposed to. So it's allegedly open world, and that's why I was like a little confused when they were like diving deep into the story, and I'm like, okay, well, how much of this is going to be story driven? How much of this is just going to be fuck around and find out? Because, like, in games, like in my mind, I'm like, oh my gosh, an open world Star Wars game. Like, I could do anything in the world. But I'm like, oh man, are there going to be, like, objectives and stuff to do? Because, honestly, I'd be much happier just messing around in the world. You know what I mean? Like, the idea of, like, a sandbox Star Wars where it's like, but how would you even do that, you know? Like, there's got to be limitations to that.
Yeah. Well, okay, so I will say this. Not that this... I went on my computer here, and I'm looking at the gameplay that they posted 9 months ago, the gameplay trailer. So they do have a gameplay walkthrough, right? And it's 9 minutes long. But it doesn't show you much other than her, like, kind of shooting a weapon, like, kind of like Battlefront style, you know? Mm-hmm. And it shows, like, her flying a ship at some point. So everything we said is not completely warranted critiques. However, I'm going to still say that still tells me absolutely nothing. It almost feels like the... they, like, if they took the trailer that came out today, the story mode trailer, whatever, and then they just put overlays on it, and that's like the HUD of the game. You know what I mean? I didn't see any menu flipping. I didn't see any anything of any of the meat and potatoes. You know what I mean? Like, if that makes any kind of sense. Yeah.
Well, I'll be curious. I know Andrew will for sure probably buy this game. Without a doubt, Andrew will be playing this game. So
yeah.
I'll probably at least watch him play, if not play myself, depending on how expensive it is. And because the thing is, it's like I bought Battlefront 2 when it came out. It's
Big mistake.
The thing is, I enjoyed it in quick play mode for like an hour. But then after that, it's like...
I will say this about Battlefront 2. It got, like, as time went on in it, because during COVID, I was in my last...
I played that a lot of COVID, too.
I was in my last year of college, and...
You were?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know that, but I'm talking to the audience. And we had Zoom University, where we would be on Zoom for all of our classes. And in the background of my Zoom classes, I'd be playing Battlefront the whole time. So
Dude,
it
that
was
literally
really,
reminds me.
it was fun.
Do you remember that time during the first quarantine when we were doing all virtual classes and it was May the 4th and I dressed up as Emperor Palpatine and I was like, oh my god, guys, like I forgot we had a class today and I showed up in full cosplay. Like, but I was fully intentional. So
this
cringy.
Is the second time you've told this story on this podcast.
Not on this podcast.
And we are the second episode in, Katie.
Did I?
This is the second episode. Yes. Believe me, I've
that's
listened to the
cringier,
first
actually.
episode like 4 times now.
I've only listened to it twice.
Yeah, well, you know.
Damn.
Because we talked about doing a May the 4th episode and that you would potentially come on as Palpatine.
Oh, okay.
If you recall, right? That's funny, though.
I will do it.
Okay.
May the 4th to recycle this conversation. Wow, me thinking I have nifty tidbits and stories, and we're just recycling. Pod 2, we're going back over it. Recycling old content. It's unintentional.
Yeah.
I'm just very forgetful.
No, it's okay. I'm equally as forgetful, probably.
So, speaking of trailers that are coming out, we're literally recording this like 4 hours before the Joker 2 trailer is going to drop.
Which I don't care about, let me just say.
Which is crazy. Which is
crazy. And let me be completely candid about this. It's not because I hate the movie. It's because I haven't seen the movie, so I have no attachment to it. I'm also really, really bad at watching movies.
It's been like 5 years.
In a timely manner, so much so that last night, on the day of the eclipse, is the first time I had ever seen Interstellar.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't seen Interstellar in a long time, and I know I've seen
it's
it,
the
but
best
it's
Christopher
really
Nolan movie, period.
Well, did you see Tenet? I'm just kidding.
Shut
Tenet
them.
sucked!
Okay.
Tenet was 3 hours of my life I'll never get back.
You seem very upset about it.
Yeah, I fucking hate Tenet. Tenet made me so mad. It made me pissed. But I've never seen Inception.
Oh, okay.
So.
You
Dark
should
Knight
anyway.
is one of my all-time favorites.
Well, I mean, okay, other than The Dark Knight, right? Let's exclude The Dark Knight. Interstellar is Christopher Nolan's best movie that I have seen. Anyway, this is
Amy
not
Adams?
this is count what?
Is Amy Adams in Interstellar?
I said anyways.
I know, and I said is Amy Adams in Interstellar?
Oh no, it's Jessica Chastain. She's
I'm racist. Racist against gingers.
Oh my god. All right, moving on. We're moving on from that comment. I don't think that counts as the things that we were supposed to talk about today, but it's just something I did want to throw in there because I did just watch that movie. That movie's wonderful. Anyways.
Yeah. Anyways, so you haven't seen Joker. Came out in 2019. That's absolutely crazy. I definitely saw it like twice in theaters.
And we were friends. Yeah. I was already in college at that point. So were you. Yeah. It probably would have made sense had we seen it together at some point. And you probably offered if I had to.
I'm sure I did. Well, 2019, best year of movies. Best
what came out that year?
Movies.
I don't even remember.
Fucking everything came out that year. Jojo Rabbit, Marriage Story.
Marriage Story.
Oh
I
my
saw
God.
that movie sort of, and I did not enjoy not even a second of that movie. And I didn't connect with it at all, and I think that's because my parents were never married. So, like,
sense.
for me, I was like, why does everybody care about this movie? And then, like, I talked to Gloria, I talked to you, and Dylan Strickland, Dylan Reviews. I remember he like, kind of, like, was
Dylan
like, well, here's the whole thing about it. And I was like, okay, I could see why that's important to some people, right?
Yeah.
I had different struggles. That wasn't one of my struggles.
It's a very specific lens of divorce for,
Sure.
like, middle-class white children. It was very advantageous. Dylan Strickland and I, at Dylan Reviews, and I watched this movie at, like, 2:15 a.m.
Of course he
and
did. Of course he did.
I
Why wouldn't you?
legit nothing, absolutely nothing. Adam Driver singing Sondheim. Come on. Adam Driver's not my cuppa. It is my best friend Kaylee's cuppa. But even I have to admit, I'm like, you're so talented. But yeah, that was the year for Adam Driver. He did a lot of good stuff that year. Anyways, can't believe you haven't seen Joker.
Yeah, I guess
really
I ought to
need to get you to watch
it.
that.
I guess I ought to see it soon. Okay. Be honest with me. Is this something that Miss Gloria would watch and be like, she actually kind of would enjoy it?
So here's the thing. What was the movie that we saw? She did not like the Batman, right?
No, she completely despised it. I think there was multiple reasons why she despised it. One of them being that it was such a really late showing when we saw it.
It was.
But yeah.
And I stayed up the whole time. So
I really liked that movie. Anyway,
I enjoyed the Batman, but I don't think I've rewatched it. And this I'll say about Joker. I have a hankering to watch this movie a lot. I think I talked about this in a one-shot a couple weeks ago. But even earlier today, I saw the TikTok they posted about the teaser, and it was literally just Joaquin Phoenix laughing, like saying trailer's coming out tonight, 6:30 Pacific time or whatever. I was like, man, I could really go for Joker. And I just watched Joker in November. And, well, I guess that's 6 months ago. But that's more often than I rewatch a lot of movies. I'm not
more than you rewatch
rewatcher.
Interstellar,
Yeah. I'll watch Interstellar if you watch Joker.
Yeah, sure.
The thing is, I think Miss Gloria would like it because it's a movie to me that's less rooted in
the
comic book stuff. And by that I mean there's not a huge amount of like battle. It's all like, and essentially like, this is not really a spoiler, right? I'm not going to talk about the plot of the movie or anything. But the whole thing is, like, you're seeing his descent into madness. Sure. And the whole part of the movie, you're like, how much of this is really happening? How much of this is happening in his head?
So it's kind of like a psychological thriller kind of deal?
It is. It's like a psychological thriller art house take on Joker.
Gotcha.
So,
okay.
I honestly think she would like it at least more than the Batman.
Okay. Maybe we'll get her to watch it. But anyway, so, I mean, hey, the Joker trailer's coming out.
It's cute.
Yeah. So
we'll talk about the trailer, I'm sure, next time you see us.
Or you'll make a one-shot about it.
Who knows?
Who knows? What's in store for us?
Who knows? If you want to see me make
Gourmet.
a one-shot about Joker, to wrap a comment in the comment section below. I've always wanted to say that. I think that's why I've said it twice, is because I always watch YouTubers growing up, and they're like, drop your thoughts in the comments below. And I've always been like, oh, you're so cool.
Would you ever drop your thoughts in the comments below?
I did, but only for the most problematic people. So,
also, it's funny how that works.
Who you brought up earlier? I didn't know Tobuscus was still alive.
Oh, he's alive.
I haven't thought about him since 2013.
Yeah. I'm not gonna get into it too much, but he did have some things that were problematic with him as well.
Is Tobuscus a bad person?
I mean, the allegations are that of what a bad person might do.
Well, that's true. I believe women.
He denied them, but he did say that he did do tons of drugs.
Well,
no to each their own, I suppose.
To each their own. But kids, don't do drugs. I'm looking at you. I'm looking at all our little babies in disco. Don't do drugs.
Unless it's cocaine. Then that's fine.
Unless it's cocaine. No,
we're kidding.
We're
so kidding.
I don't want any of our little,
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do cocaine. Instead,
can you imagine? It's like a mugshot, and then like you know how they get one prison phone call, and it's like 10 years from now, and Zushi's like, Louis, you told me to do cocaine. I would be absolutely dead. I would be deceased. That would be like the most horrific thing that could happen.
If I know, Zushi will comment on this and say something very, very silly and snarky.
I'm sure he will.
In regards to this conversation. But however, I, as one of the biggest Godzilla fans on the face of this earth, this weekend, in our Lord and Savior's Day of Saturday, Friday, I don't remember. Anyway, I watched Godzilla x Kong, A New Empire.
What did you think?
And what did I think? That movie was fucking wacky. Okay, that movie was so okay.
Wacky,
for those,
like cute, silly wacky, or wacky
Oh, I
like
wish.
that's whack.
that one. Okay, so look, let me just say something. Okay,
Lay it out for me.
there are two versions of Godzilla, right? The first version being, oh, I'm gonna come to this city and Tokyo and fucking destroy it, and I'm gonna be horror-esque monster, a horror adjacent film that you're like, oh shit, that's scary because
Like
Godzilla.
Universal Classic-y.
Sure, yeah, and because Godzilla is supposed to be like this. The consequences of our actions as human beings, right? Him being like coming from nuclear testing and all that shit, And so if you have ever watched Shin Godzilla, I think that's one of the best examples
I have not.
of nature coming back to fight us, right? And being
Okay,
like,
so
you
it's
did
like-
this to yourself kind of deal. Now suffer the consequences of being shit people, and here's a monster who will now eat you. And Shin Godzilla does a really good job of and this is, I think Shin Godzilla came out in 2016, somewhere around there. If you haven't seen it, you should go watch it. It's a very interesting take on that sort of thing, right? And so they in Shin Godzilla in particular, and I'll talk a little bit more about them, but like they earn the moments, right? And they earn the moments of him using his atomic blast and that, and Shin Godzilla's a fucking animatronic, which is awesome.
Really?
Yeah, he's an animatronic in that movie. It's usually a dude in a suit, a puppet, or an animatronic for the most part. But anyway, so that's that, and then like Godzilla -1 is again one of the same thing.
You've
where
told
it's
me
like,
I have to watch. That's at the
You
top
do-
of my watch list,
yeah.
actually.
Godzilla -1, once it comes on Blu-ray or it's rentable or whatever the case is, you should 110% go watch it. It's
Cool.
It's better than Shin Godzilla, mostly. But however, same thing, right? It's very consequential, like and more than any other Godzilla movie, but Godzilla -1 really earns the moments. It really earns like the atomic breaths and all those things. And then there's the other version of Godzilla, which is the silly, goofy one, which is the version where you see all the silly gifs of Godzilla putting on the sunglasses or like doing the whole like funny jump.
Right,
and then like there's one particular one, I can't quite remember the name of the movie, but he like, in order to catch up with the monster, he like jumps, does his atomic blast, and like blasts his way to find the monster. Sorry, I just like punched my mic. Anyway, so those are the two main versions.
So there's like hinged and unhinged.
Correct, right? Very,
this
very,
unhinged?
very, very serious, and knows that it's silly and doesn't take itself seriously, right? Those are the two versions, right?
Right. Okay.
This is very silly, but takes itself very seriously.
Oh,
so, like,
that's
all
the
of
worst kind.
all of the worst kind, like the worst combination of Godzilla that you could ever ask for. And if I had to say, you should watch it.
You don't think I would like it though?
But no, I don't think you would. But you should watch it when it comes out, like on HBO Max or something. Like,
When it comes out on HBO Max, and then I'll put it on, and then I'll definitely stay awake the whole time.
Exactly. If you fall
Yeah,
asleep,
okay.
then just it's fine. I don't even think you should like finish it, because like, I
Just
mean,
get the
if
vibe
you,
of it?
what I'm saying is, like, if you don't finish it, you're not gonna miss much. It's just not that great. I will say though, there are things that they do a really good job of. Like, they do a really good job of like, there's a lot of like monkey scenes. King Kong is kind of more the main character, where like they're not talking, and like, but you still understand what's happening in the scene because they're like grunting or they're, whatever.
Because this is not their first movie where they fight each other.
Well, Godzilla and King Kong don't fight each other in this one. They have another enemy that is...
Isn't it called Godzilla v Kong?
No, it's called Godzilla X Kong.
You're
is different
joking.
from
That's the
being-
stupidest thing I've ever heard. I literally thought they were going to be fighting each other.
Well, they fight each other in the
Because
first
it's
one.
X Kong. They're making it sound like some kind of fucking influencer collab. Godzilla
Right?
X Kong.
Right? Like, it feels like a what is it? What is that?
Sounds like a
Supreme?
shitty brand deal.
Like a
Yeah.
Supreme thing,
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's
Sounds
exactly
like
what
a
it sounds like.
stupid product.
Stupid
line.
fucking product, dude.
Stupid
Fuck this.
fucking influencers in their YouTube channels.
All right, there you go. But yeah, and yeah, so yeah, I would
I don't
say
know. I want to
yeah.
see it, but I told you I'd see Dune 2 one day, Still haven't seen that, but I will say one
obviously, go watch Dune before you see this.
I'm gonna be so honest with you. There's like 3 movies in theaters I'm gonna see before I see Dune.
So it's weird. It's almost like this. Like we're supposed to be talking about things in geek culture, and it'd be
talking about things in geek culture.
It'd be really nice if we talked about one of the biggest things in the world right now.
I will eventually. Love Lies Bleeding came out a couple weeks ago. Haven't seen that. Late Night with the Devil came out this week. Haven't seen that. Indie horror that was actually pretty. This actually was very relevant a couple weeks ago. It got under fire for using AI generated graphic design in the movie. So a bunch of people were boycotting. I'm still interested to see it, but I don't know if I want to give it my money. But also, I don't think I have talked about this. I'm a fucking slut for Regal Cinemas. So they get all my money every month anyways. So I'm not really, like, the money doesn't go, like, I'm not giving my money directly to the film. Like Regal is going to get that money for me anyways. I don't pay per ticket. So I feel a little less bad about that. So we'll see. But one of my top 10 anticipated movies of the year, Civil War, A24 war drama.
I was like,
futuristic.
Civil War? I was like, Captain America Civil War?
The thing is, okay, here's the thing. I haven't seen it yet. It comes out this weekend. I'm hoping to see it. I don't know if I will get to this weekend. But I think it's going to take itself too seriously, and I think it's going to try to be this. Like, the premise is that it's like a realistic civil war of what they think would happen if America devolves at the pace it's devolving at, right? So my worry is
this is like a civil war, like if it were modern. It's not like a
modern
historic
America. Yes.
It's not like a historic reenactment of the Civil War. Got you.
So I'm just worried it's gonna try to be like so on the nose, and I don't know. It's kind of annoying, but we'll see. It's a war movie, so maybe Andrew would go with me, but who knows? Who knows? But I have a lot to watch. This week I started watching Has Been Hotel. Which has been super all over my TikTok, all over the internet. People have been like, Katie, you have to watch it.
I gotta be honest with you about all of these things you're talking about. I'm like, I've never heard of these things.
What? I feel like Has Been Hotel is very popular right now.
Not on my feed.
What?
Not on my feed.
Okay, well, maybe I'm crazy.
Well, okay. No, you're not crazy. But like, I will say this to you about my social media intake here is that I don't do it that much. I'm not on, like, as much as I'm on it, I'm not on it. You know what I mean?
The thing is, they can't, we're so opposite there, because I literally, if they ban TikTok, I don't think I'll be able to take a shit. I don't think I can poop and not watch TikTok. I literally don't know if that's a thing I can do.
Is that your poop thing? You pull out TikTok and you just scroll TikTok?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I used to read books when I was little on the toilet. I would read books about, like, the toll and these veterinarian books about like vet adventures in the middle of the night. I'd be like, oh no, I have to go to the bathroom, guess I have to stay up and read. But like old like animal hospital books, that was like my thing. But now I'm an adult, I'm just like, I swear on my life, I don't know if I can take a shit without watching a TikTok or seeing what the Doherty dozen ate today. I'll die. I think I'll die.
That's crazy. That's insane. I
want to watch a restock video. That's how the poop comes out. That's what relaxes my sphincter.
Gross. My taint tickler.
My taint tickler.
My taint tickler is I read manga. Well, I mean,
on the toilet.
Yeah.
Yeah. I read in a web browser, right? Like, you don't have an app, you read it on the web browser.
No. There's an app called the Shonen Jump app that you pay for. It's like $2 a month. It's like literally nothing. And yeah, you get like all the Shonen Jump. I don't know how familiar you are with the way manga works. But it's not like comic books where like an issue comes out or a volume. Like, well, volumes do come out, but like most comic books come out by the issue, right? Manga, and more specifically Shonen manga, it's a magazine. So, Shonen Jump is a magazine full of manga in it. So, it's like, for that week, this is a Shonen Jump magazine this week. And so, one section is like My Hero, one section is like One Piece, one section is Jujutsu Kaisen.
It's like
and
Sunday, like, cartoons or something.
Yeah. Or like how, like, the newspaper would come in and it would have the Sunday comics strips. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but in the app, it's super convenient because... let's say for example, you're like, hey Louis, I want to get into reading Jujutsu Kaisen. I heard that this is great. And like, oh yeah, get this app. We sound like I'm sponsoring it right now.
New Shonen Jump, be our first sponsor.
But Shonen Jump is great because if you pay the $2 a month, you have access to all of the past chapters of all of the manga that is Shonen Jump. So
that's so cool.
That's cool. All of One
cool,
Piece.
Actually.
Yeah, and like
maybe
I know
I'll
like
do that.
Marvel has their own thing too, and so does DC, but they're more expensive for sure.
Mm-hmm. Well, $2 a month isn't crazy. You know what I mean? Like
no, it's
last
not.
month when I wasn't sober, I paid like $2 to get a month worth of mini crosswords from New York Times, and it literally paid for itself. I was like, why don't I do in-app purchases more?
Are you condoning microtransactions right now?
So my goal, summer 2024, is to spend more money.
Yeah. Okay.
If you know me, I'm a pretty cheap person.
You are.
Not to like enforce stereotypes or whatever, but I'm pretty.
Who's enforcing a stereotype right now? Why? What's the stereotype here? Go ahead.
What?
Go ahead.
Anyways, so I keep a very tight wallet, and I don't know, and I feel like I always feel like I'm more strapped than I am, and then I like stop myself from getting things like a little ice cream or a little treat. So my goal, summer 2024, is to spend more money, and just like have fun.
Well, maybe if this thing takes off, you'll have a little more money to spend.
Who knows? Guys,
who knows?
All I'm saying is your viewership directly contributes to my amount of fun.
Right, exactly. That's
so
silly.
Other
That's
news
so silly.
about what's going on in the world. Okay, this is not like a hugely relevant thing. But just the weirdest article I found scrolling the other day that James Gunn was like, guys.
Oh,
you see this?
Yes. Let's talk about. Okay, this is Superman Legacy, by the way.
This is like
we're
the
talking about
stupidest
Superman
thing
Legacy.
too.
Yeah.
And James Gunn was like, I'm out here. I'm gonna deny. Like, I'm here to shut everybody else down, confirming that the protagonist of my new movie will be Superman and the antagonist will be Lex Luthor. I'm just sitting here reading this article and I'm like, why the fuck is this an article? Who was wondering about this? Like, okay,
let me. So I'm in the Superman. It's not Superman Legacy anymore. I think it's just Superman. I might be wrong about that.
I don't know.
But he said it recently. He's like, it's not Superman Legacy anymore. We changed the name. But so there's so much discourse and like speculation. Like, oh, all these casting things are just like. People like it's not even James Gunn. It's just like people over speculating and overthinking everything, and they're like, "Oh yeah, well, it's the villain's actually going to be Clayface, and here's why." And so James Gunn is I think James Gunn is just making a joke where he's just like, "Listen, people, this is what it actually is. It's not whatever villain. Like it's just not. It's just fucking not."
It's so funny that like people do. You're right. People literally like get so stressed about it. But I'm like, okay, let's take a step back. James Gunn is now. He's here. He's here with DC. This is going to be his. Correct me if I'm wrong. His first major directing project after
Suicide Squad.
Yeah. So.
Well, okay. I might be wrong about this. I think he's directing.
But since he's officially stepped into DC like management,
I think he's doing the animated. Well, they're not called Howling Commandos. Why was I saying that?
What?
It's a DC animated show that is evading my brain at the moment. But he's also working on that. But yes, I think major motion picture.
Major motion picture after he stepped into management in DC. Because I believe, oh my goodness, and I wish we had a fact checker live with this podcast. But he did a Suicide Squad, and then he joined, like he stepped up to lead DC. So,
correct. Okay, so here's what.
This is his first big project. Like, why do people think that he's going to do something wild? He's trying to reestablish a brand and rejuvenate DC after years of mid-motion pictures.
Here's like what happened, right? If I can be the fact checker here because this is like my fucking bread and butter other than the video game stuff. But like, okay, so his old tweets came out about something or other. I don't quite remember. I think it was something about like maybe using gay in like a negative way, something along those lines. I don't quite remember. No. It was You know what? Before I continue talking,
we could fact check. Well, it's interesting because I don't know any. I guess I remember hearing about this, but I don't remember things about it. But it is interesting, right? Because things that are slurs sometimes are not slurs. I don't know if he's gay. For all I know, James Gunn could be gay, and if so, it's so okay to say things are gay and cool.
So in 2009, he made a tweet that said, "When little boys touch me in a silly place," and another tweet from that year that mocked RAPE victims that said the best thing about being R-worded is that when you're done being R-worded, it's like, whew, that feels great not being R-worded. So I was wrong about that. But the tweets I was thinking of was actually Kevin Hart was the person who I was thinking of. So this is all 2009.
If you're just listening to audio, by the way, my jaw dropped. Jaw dropped.
We could sit here and talk about the discourse about old tweets and old Instagram posts and things like that.
Hate to hear it.
But
what year was that?
2009.
The thing is, I feel like even in 2009, I don't think there's ever been a tasteful time to make fun of sexual assault victims.
No.
And that's something I'm very passionate about. So
so like that was the original reason why he got fired from Marvel, because those tweets resurfaced from him directing Guardians of the Galaxy 3, which, like, as I'm remembering all this, obviously, like, you're like, okay, it's a decent reason.
Yeah.
But then, he came back and was like, obviously, like, that's not how I actually feel, and, like,
right.
yada, apologize profusely and all those things. And then, I mean, Chris Pratt and company came to his rescue and was like, he's the reason why we have lives and jobs and all of these things, and he's actually a really good person. And I'm stating just what they did, right?
I don't know James Gunn. I believe good people can say bad things. I'm not here to defend his actions. I think that's
and that's exactly what I'm trying to say as well. So I'm just recalling the events.
Separating the art from the artist, I do like what James Gunn has done with Marvel. Obviously, I love what he's done with Guardians. And I think if anybody has a shot at making DC live action movies, because I mean, man, the last few years have been brutal.
Okay, so like, yeah. So going back to that, they dropped him. DC was like picked him up immediately and was like, Suicide Squad too. Now. Well, actually, they gave him an option between the Suicide Squad and making another Superman movie. He was like, Superman, no. Suicide Squad, yes. So he made that.
More fun.
It was amazing, obviously. And then Marvel was like, wait, actually bring him back because nobody wants to do this movie now. And so then they brought him back. Guardians 3 was obviously a really great movie. And then DC was like, hey, do you actually want to not work with Marvel as much anymore? Come work with us and rebuild everything? Yeah. And so he came back. And that's the story as to how he got to be,
sure
if you're not familiar with it.
Also,
100%.
Great rundown from Louis. Thank you.
Yeah.
We have to have like little Louis snippets, Louis shorts, recapping drama and news. That'd be a good series.
Yeah, comic book drama and news. Yeah, exactly.
I don't know, because I feel like the last few DC movies, the thing about DC movies, live action movies, is I feel like the trailers are really good, and then the actual movies are doggy doo. I will say I liked Peacemaker. Have you seen Peacemaker?
No, so I watched a few episodes of it, and I really enjoyed what I saw.
It's silly.
It came out when we were still in college, I think. So
Andrew and I think it was almost 3 years ago, because Andrew and I were in Dallas.
Then maybe I was not in college anymore. But
I don't know. I think it was like 2-3 years ago.
However, I liked what I saw. And so here's the other thing I will say about James Gunn is that he is nothing but like forthcoming with like all of this Superman stuff, and he'll go out of his way and be like, that's not correct, that's not factual, we actually haven't filmed this yet, or we're actually 20% of the way done filming. Like, he's very good at the social media thing, other than like his 2009 tweets, right? Excluding those things, right? He's very, very, very good at like the Twitter, at the threads.
Right.
And actually, I don't think he's on Twitter. I don't know. He's on threads for sure though.
What's threads?
It's like the Twitter version of Instagram. Basically.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
This is this is 4/9/2024. I've never fucking heard of threads.
Well, if you go on Instagram, it's an option for anyway,
we have
not
threads?
no, we don't. Not important.
Yeah.
Not important. Not important. We don't have
Yeah.
threads. Anyway, moving on. So one of the things that I really like about him is that he's like, hey, these are the comic books that I'm referencing in this movie. And so I don't think I've talked about it on the podcast. I did a pilot one shot where I talked about this, but I'm gonna talk about it now. He said that All-Star Superman is a one of the comics. Which, if you haven't read All-Star Superman, it's a more human narrative on Superman, right? We kind of separate the human from the god kind of thing, and we see him as a person with emotions a lot more. So I don't know.
Interesting.
Something to think about. To that's my Louis reading recommendation for you if you read comic books.
I honestly haven't read comics in a long time, and I'm just gonna go ahead and preface this by saying I am really sorry, Dad. I didn't mean to, and I'm very sorry. But the last time I actively read comics was when I lived in Dallas. We had a closet under the stairs. It wasn't just like the stairs went like this way. So there was like a tiny like 2-foot cove under the stairs. And my dad kept some of his like sealed in the package comics under there. And I would go down there and I definitely opened some in the package comics. And I'm very sorry.
Wow.
That's my greatest secret.
That's an insane thing.
And the thing is, it's like I was like a child, so I don't remember what the actual comics were.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's no excuse. Hands gone. Consider them gone.
It's gone.
Yep,
it's gone. Also, speaking of comics, did you see the Superman Action Comics one sold for $6 million?
Yeah, and I'm not surprised.
Well, it's interesting though too because it's like if you have that, like you're not gonna read it, you're just gonna like have it to have it. Which is like, do you display it? Do you want it? Like the person clearly doesn't want it for resale value, or do they? Or are they gonna wait 10 years and flip it and make 10 million? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. I have a $1,000 comic sitting over there, and
which one?
Spider-Man 121.
Dang.
The Amazing Spider-Man 121. I don't have it
graded. Did you read it, or is it in the plastic?
Well, I've read it, but it's in the.
It's in the plastic.
It's in the dust protector situation.
Do you want to like save it for like kids one day, or like are you gonna keep it?
It's one of my favorite comics of all time.
Aww.
The night Gwen Stacy died. I mean, because in comic book history, it's like the turning point for comics at that. Like, it changed the game because nobody died like that in comics until literally that comic book. So,
Louis, I've got such an idea. Okay.
All right.
What if? Okay. Drop in the comments if you would actually watch this or something.
The drop in the comments.
Time I'm going to tell you to drop in the comments.
Yeah, go ahead.
But wouldn't it be fun if you did a live or something and you read a comic as like a bedtime story and you did all the voices?
Members only.
Patreon. We're gonna make our Patreon, and it's gonna be Louis.
We always keep like threatening to do stuff like that. That's our only.
I'm threatening to make a Patreon.
What's wrong with what's your whole thing about like wanting to do bedtime things? Like, are you a baby?
What do you mean?
Are you 5?
Do you think I have a thing with bedtime things? What are you talking about?
I feel like a lot of times our conversations end up leading to, why don't we do this for like a bedtime thing?
That's funny. I love personally bedtime stories. When my partner and I were long distance for 3 years, I was very spoiled and I got bedtime stories every night.
Wow, that is interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm very spoiled. I love watching stuff when I'm falling asleep. I don't know, bedtime is probably I love that time. It's a time where I'm relaxed. I'm enjoying myself. I don't know. Do I like bedtime things? I love baths. Do you like baths? You don't like baths?
Well, if I can't do it like, okay, I'm kind of a like clean. I hate getting dirty, which is funny because
Steam, make that a short.
Because I am a carpenter, right? And so like
Yeah.
one of my things is that like I take multiple showers, which is not eco-friendly. Let me just say, but it also does. I have a hair thing with my. If I don't take care of it, dandruff and things like that happen. I have a very gross scalp if I don't take care of it. So like that's another reason why I shower multiple times a day. Mm-hmm. But I hate being dirty. So
yeah, that's fair.
I can't do a bath too often because I get like ick from
Ick
like
about
sitting in my
that.
own dirt and grime. It makes me want
Yeah.
to throw up.
You could do a pre
Shower, yeah, maybe
shower.
That might
you know
be.
what I mean?
That might be.
See,
that
I
might
don't.
be the
It's
way
a
to go.
luxury though, because I don't have enough hot water in this apartment to like fuel a bath. Like it's lukewarm, so I'll have to like boil water on the stove to get a bath. And it's not even like as short as I am. Sometimes like the tub I have is still very tiny, and I have to be like. Eh. But I love watching a kids movie during a bath. If you've ever lived with me, you know that I love it. And whenever I see like a shitty kids movie, I'm like, oh, that's a perfect bath movie. I'm going to prop my little laptop up. I'm going to put on Adam Sandler's Leo or Boss Baby. And, you know, I'm going to put some candles on, get myself a little seltzer water, maybe cut up some fruit, have a little tray, put in a bath bomb. Oh my God, a Lush bath bomb. That's why I like to house sit for people, so I can take luxury baths.
Well, with that being said, we are out of time. If you guys want to find me anywhere on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, I'm at the LouDOGG956. That's LouDog, 2Gs, 956. Where can they find you, Katie?
Letterboxd and TikTok at RealSlimKatie25 and all of our Geek Gourmet socials. But you should follow me on TikTok. I've been posting some very unhinged content lately.
I'm so glad for you. Geek Gourmet now has socials. We have our link tree, which is linked in the description below, and also if you're using our various podcatchers, because we're now on.
Join us on Discord, by the way.
Yeah, our Discord and all of those things
there.
are linked. Yeah, we actually talk quite frequently, and there's we're like 160 something strong, I think, at this point. So yeah, we're doing just fine. Well, remember to get Geek Gourmet.
Get Gourmet. This has been geeky, and now it's gourmet. I still like keep those bellies full. You know? Yeah. Goes on with a food theme. Drop in the comments below what you think our new slogan should be.
Number 4. This is the 4th drop in the comments below thing. All right, well, we're stopping this now. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Bye.